you guys anti-pod or pro-pod or?
Three Geeks Podcast, anti-pod or pro-pod?
Pro-pod, okay.
Yeah, 100%.
I just got to know whether to like you or...
No, man, I was raised by Cheech and Chong. Of course.
So was Ashcroft.
Yeah, that's true.
And I ended up in 9 months in jail because of that. In fact, they had it on the arrest thing that I made fun of law enforcement agency with my movies.
Oh, man.
Isn't that a crime, huh?
Oh, no.
Yeah. If we would have said no, would you go back to the other podcast and just kept talking to them? That'd be really funny to me. That'd be really funny to me. I don't know what it's
No, I like this one. You get prettier girls.
Oh, thank you.
I like it when I get lady people because I know how to schmooze. No, I got low battery. I'm plugged in. Why is the battery low? See, I'm not really good at. I think
that's okay.
Electric devices don't like me because they know I'm ignorant. You know, they take advantage of me all the time.
What's going on, everybody? We are joined by the legend Tommy Chong. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
We actually met you very briefly at Columbus GalaxyCon about a month ago.
At the Comic Con thing?
Yeah. We saw you and Cheech in Columbus.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that the best event?
It's so much fun.
It's so much fun.
The festival of the fat people.
I mean, if the shoe fits.
Well, you can't say that. I can because I'm fat too, you know. I'm not really, but I eat like I am. You know? I got a wife, a vegetarian wife. She's skinny as a board. But
I'm sure you get this question all the time. But what made you want to get into comedy?
Oh, are you kidding? When you find out that you can get paid for speaking your mind, and people will stop and listen and laugh. When you find out you got that talent, you won the lottery. Because I can't think of a better job ever. Now my wife and I, we get invited to all sorts of events. If I wasn't who I was, they wouldn't even consider this guy, you know. But no, I comedy. Whew. When you find out you can do comedy, you won the lottery. That's all. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Laughter is the best medicine.
Yeah. No, laughter, like getting high. You know, the people that shouldn't get high on weed. That's what I'm talking about. Just weed. You know, because you can get, you know, it can trigger some really bad thought processing. That's why, you know, I tell people all the time, you know, make sure, you know, you don't have any serious issues because if you do and you smoke weed, you know, it might not work out the best for you, is what I'm trying to say.
Right. So Cheech and Chong, it became more than just a comedy. It kind of became like a movement. What do you think made that resonate with people so deeply?
Because what we did was all truth. Nothing was manufactured. You know, it wasn't that Cheech was a comedian for years and I was a comedian and then we got together, or entertainers even, you know. Like Martin and Lewis, they got together because Dean Martin was a vocalist and Jerry was a vocalist, a singer, and they combined their act, and next thing you know, you got movie magic too, you know. With Cheech and Chong, I think it was more serendipity. What I mean by that is that it was ordained by the universe. And I think it was to legalize weed. I really do. Because when I was 17 years old, I was playing in we had started an R&B band, first black music band in Western Canada. And so we had broken a lot of color barriers and lines and everything else. And the first group I had were called the Shades, because it was a full-blood Sarsi Native Indian. Myself was half Chinese and everything else. And then Tommy Milton, who was all a descendant from a slave from the States. And so we had the black, we had the medium, rare, and well done. That's what we called ourselves. And we ended up calling ourselves the Shades. And then because Tommy was such a good Lindy Hop dancer, we added Edie Walton, who was, I was trying to make her a girlfriend, but her and I were the same age, and she was much smarter than me. And even though we danced well together, I was just too young, emotionally. So that was our first band, was with the three of us, the Shades. And then we added the piano and drums, and a white guy on drums, a mulatto or part black on sax, and another black on keyboards. And we became the first legitimate R&B band in Western Canada, all of Western Canada. And we got so popular. See, back in Calgary, Alberta, where I was raised, there wasn't a lot for teenagers to do. Remember a movie I called Footloose, I think it was, about dancing and,
Yep.
It was all about that. And what's his name? Mickey Rooney and Over the Rainbow, Judy Garland. They did a lot of movies where the teenagers don't have nothing to do in this town, so let's put on a show or let's do a dance. And so I got in trouble with a friend of mine. He stole the car, and then he stalled it. And then he called me up and he says, I got a car, but it's not running. And so I said, I'll be right over. So I came over to help him start the stolen car, and the cops pulled up. And so we ran home. And the only problem was it was freshly fallen snow. And so the cop just followed our footprints right to my house, came in the house, pulled us out of bed. We were both in bed with our clothes on, and took us to jail. And it was the first time I'd been in jail, and I looked like a 12-year-old, I guess, because all the people in the prison there are looking at, what's this young kid doing here? But anyway, we got fined $100. And so a couple of weeks later, for some reason, I knocked on the door of the magistrate that sentenced us. And Magistrate Reed, who became a Superior Court judge. But he called me in. I said, the reason kids, get in a lot of trouble, there's nothing for them to do, no activities, anything. And so he told me, he said, well, why don't you get something going? And I was like, oh, okay. And I had a friend whose dad owned the Boys Club of America. So I told him what I wanted to do. So he helped me put a Shades teen club together. And as a perk, we got the best dance hall in Calgary given to us Saturday night, downtown Calgary, beautiful ballroom, piano, everything. And it was ours because we're helping the teenagers. And we packed that sucker. 300-400 people just jammed in there. Figured out it's the first rock and roll band in Calgary. And so people came from Edmonton, Lethbridge, all over the place to Calgary. But the trouble is, the cops or the Puritans made us stop the dance at 11:30. because midnight, and we get everybody out of there by midnight, so everybody could go home and then get up early and go to church. Well, you stop kids from having fun at 11:30, and these are like rock and roll people, but they're thugs, and so they would get out of our dance and then go create havoc on Calgary. And what it would be some girl babysitting, and some guy say, I know where we can have a party, and then like 300 people would go over to the girl where the girl's babysitting, and they come in like locusts and steal all the booze, and it's horrible. And so the mayor of Calgary and the licensed attorney called us into the mayor's office, and I thought we were going to get some award, for being the Shades Team Club. And instead, they said, "You guys have to get out of town for the Christmas holidays." And we said, "What? Out of town? We don't care where you go, but you're not going to be in Calgary. And if you're going to be here, we're going to arrest you." And so instead of getting upset, we said, "Oh boy, let's go to Vancouver." And so we went to Vancouver, and that's where I started, really got serious with music, because that's all we did in Vancouver. There's clubs there where we could play, work, and which we did, and outstayed our welcome, and it's a whole thing. But anyway, that's how I got into the club owning business, actually, because right after the teen club, then we eventually started another nightclub called the Blues Palace. Again, we found this empty spot in this nice area of Vancouver, but again, we never never figured it out because we knew we had to get a name to open the club, so we went down south to Seattle and booked Ike and Tina Turner up to Calgary on a Tuesday night to open the Blues Club, the Blues Palace. And so what happened? I'm doing a thing right now.
Can you be finished in 10 minutes?
What's that?
Can you be finished in 10 minutes?
Yeah. And so we got a huge crowd. We got about 1,000 people, I think, and we made a shitload of money. But we got called into the licensing department the following Monday, because the club, the patrons of the club, scattered beer bottles and crap all over the neighborhood, just tore up the neighborhood, because we never hired the proper staff or anything. We didn't know what we were doing, and so we lost that club. But eventually, we found then another businessman saw how our opportunities that we had, that we were on our way to doing something. And so I was given a nightclub, 2 nightclubs eventually. And when I turned into a titty bar, and that's where I met Cheech, because I changed the titty bar, which was good. The titty bar was fine, kind of lightweight mentally, but I changed it into a improvisational nightclub. And so the girls were no longer strippers, they were actresses. And they loved it, and we loved it. And what it was, the girls would come to work with their street clothes on, and then we'd find some way to get them into the sexy clothes, like doing bits like one of the funniest bits I loved was the girls doing trick or treating, and then they knock on the door. And I had 2 straight actors, working, and they would answer the door like a mom and pop, and the guy drops an apple into the girl's sack, and the girl goes, "Hey, you broke my effing candy." Anyway, it was quite a success. And then I had a bit where this incredible guitar player. In fact, he was the one that really got me into comedy because he was so good. I literally quit playing guitar. Now, you asked how I got into comedy. I came across a guitar player. He was so good, better than Hendrix, better than anybody out there. And he's from Edmonton. And when he heard that I was in Vancouver, he flew with his band, actually. And he played in one of my clubs. And he was so good, he got me. But he had the sense of humor. He was the funny guy. You talk about funny. He was the funny guy. And he wrote the first bit that Cheech saw. And the bit was so funny that Cheech didn't think about it. He said, yeah, I'm in right away. You know, and so that's how we got Cheech. And because, we had straight actors, but the wife didn't appreciate that the straight actor was working with strippers, and especially when they saw a front page of the Vancouver Sun of Rick Lenz was his name, and he's got two pairs of titties on either side of him on a picture for Vancouver Sun. You know, that the wives and the churchgoers, everybody saw this picture, and so Rick got fired right away. And so this mutual friend of the clubs said, hey, I know a guy to be perfect for. He's working for me now, but, you know, you can have him. And so come on out and meet him. So I went out to where he was working, and I met Cheech for the first time. And when Cheech saw what we were doing, he immediately joined up. And then my brother fired us because we had changed the dynamics of the strip club so radically. We got theater goers who count their change, you know, instead of the perverts that throw money at the girls, you know. And so my brother, he just cared about the box office. He didn't care about anything else. And so that was it. We got fired. And that's when I decided, Cheech, we got to go down to LA and make it big. And that's what we did.
Just the beginning of the entire Cheech and Chong movement.
Yeah.
I love it.
Getting fired from a strip club. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, like a strip club, that's real. That's real. You can't fake that, you know. I mean, you can have fake titties, but you're going to see them. You know, you're going to know everything. But a strip club, you know, it's the basics, you know. And my wife, who was telling me I got to shut this down pretty quick, is telling me that she became the waitress at the strip club. She was, I guess, too young, but she made more money than the club because she's gorgeous, and she made a little sexy dress where kind of if you look the right way, you can kind of see things you shouldn't see, and then she'd waitress with that. And
were you guys together through the whole run of Cheech and Chong? Oh, sorry.
Huh?
Were you guys together throughout the whole run of Cheech and Chong then? Were you with your wife that whole time? Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah. Like I said, she was a girlfriend. You know, first girlfriend. Sure. And then she got pregnant. And so she became a girlfriend. And then she wanted me and my wife, I was already married, to adopt the baby. But the minute she had the baby, nobody was going to take that baby away from her. Nobody. And so eventually it worked out. Well, I ended up starting right from scratch. You know, even though I had the nightclubs, they had their own problems. And so when Shelby and I came down, we saw a midnight movie of Peter Sellers, and I Love You, Alice B. Toklas was in movie. And it was all about Venice Beach and the hippies in Venice Beach. And we saw that movie, and I said, I got to go to Venice because I wanted to work out at Gold's Gym. and I wanted to write songs and just lay on the beach and not be in Calgary, and so we ended up in L.A. And then I had to go back and work on the club, and my girlfriend came with me, and she worked the club. My wife at that time, she was living in Detroit, and then she moved to Vancouver, and so I kept the families together as long as I could, and then finally my wife said, get out of here, you. Well, once I became a comedian, and I wasn't a Motown, it was like, get out of here, get lost. And so I got lost, and we're still together, all of us, the wives, the girlfriends, and everybody. But it was,
Awesome.
yeah, like I said, serendipity, and I was turned on to weed and comedy at the same time. I had the owner of the jazz club in Calgary came to me. I would come to the jazz club with my guitar. I couldn't play jazz, but if I had my instrument with me, they let me in, and because I had no money, to pay for anything, and so the owner of the jazz club gave me a joint and a Lenny Bruce record, and it was the first time I smoked a joint, and it was the first time I heard Lenny Bruce. I'd heard of him, but I never heard him until I smoked that joint. And when he gave me the joint, I immediately put it in my pocket. And so he lit up his own. And the first time I got high, I listened to jazz. Ornette Coleman was playing, and it changed my life. It changed my life. And then years later, when Cheech and I we started making, it was all about pot. As soon as we did anything with the pot, then the crowd erupted. And we found that in LA, because after we left Vancouver, because when we were in LA, Cheech was dodging the draft. And so he didn't want anybody in LA to know that he was Mexican. And so we had no clue what he was. We thought he was Iranian or some kind of schmengy, but he fooled us, and fooled the border. We got in the Canadian border, got into the States. She showed someone else's ID, because they, okay, well, they don't care, and so then when we're here trying to make it as comedians, because we hit the scene right behind the Three Dog Night. You guys remember the Three Dog Night? The group? Yeah. Well, Three Dog Night, my first wife's brother, Floyd, was the drummer of the Three Dog Night. So we had that connection. And so when Cheech and I came to LA first, we signed up with the Three Dog Night people, and they couldn't do anything for us. But so we found our own gigs, and we found a gig at Troubadour. And the Troubadour, we were doing so good that the Troubadour would phone us up for Sunday. Are you guys coming in? They weren't paying us, but they were charging the people to see us, And so Cheech and I, and that's where we met Lou Adler. Lou Adler came to see the show, and then he put out the message, come in and talk to him. And so we went in to talk to Lou Adler, and Lou Adler says, okay, how can I help? And so I didn't tell Cheech this at all. In fact, I didn't even know. I looked around, I saw all the records, and I said, we want to make a comedy record. And it was the first time Cheech heard that. And I remember his look. He gave me that look like, we do? and then we did. We did. And everything we recorded hit the radio. And it's so weird. That's why when we shot Up in Smoke, we shot it in less than a month for less than $1 million. That's incredible. Because that's the way Cheech and I was the director. I had a law, I still got a law, where you shoot the rehearsal because you never know what's going to happen. So once you start working, capture it, get it on film, and half the time, even more than half the time, that's all you need. That first shot. And that's the way we always did it. That's why it cracks me up when I see people, like Eyes Wide Shut. They do like 38 takes of one thing, but I think it was so the director could show his dominance over star actors,
Well,
And
then you two are big improv people too, right? You guys really improv a lot in your movies, correct? Like there was a lot of improv. Yeah,
totally, because actors they figured out if you're with a director that's going to do it take a zillion times, you're not going to give them your best right off the bat. you're going to play the game, because you're getting paid too, But with us, we never thought that way, Cheech, and to this day we never think that way. It was always about the product, always a product. Is it funny? Then it's funny. If it's not funny, then don't do it. Oh, I got to go, guys.
Thank you so much.
Well,
Thank you so much, Tommy. We appreciate it. Everybody go to cheechandchong.com.
And listen, next time, don't you guys interrupt so much. Okay? Try to keep it down a little bit. Let me do that.
We'll do our best.
Yeah, if you don't mind. Listen, after we log out, don't be surprised if I see you here tomorrow.
Same time, same place, my man. I'll be here. Same time, same